Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to another beautiful live to remind you that you are the selector of your reality. You are choosing your internal state, and you can look at the outside of you as the inside. Hello from Vienna. Guten, what time would it be there? You guys like 5 hours ahead, maybe? Guten Abend. Gorgon Red. Thank you. Hi, beautiful beings. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to another live where I remind you that you are phenomenal. You get to live life on your terms the way that you desire, and you get to experience what you want to experience. You get to be your favorite version of you, bar none, right? You are not dependent on an external projection of what others think of you. You are not contingent on any past experiences. You are simply in this moment now, so choose in the now. What do you do when you keep visualizing old things and worst case scenarios? Well, you cultivate a little discipline, soothe your system, and redirect your mind, right? You are the mind. So if you keep seeing things, observe it. What I would do is observe a few things. So I'd breathe, start with the breath. When you breathe, when you slow your breathing, you slow your thoughts down. You can also increase your neuroplasticity, all that jazz. There's a lot of energy that happens with the breath, right? So redirect yourself with your breath. Slow your breath down. Observe your body. Observe as the thought comes up if there's any tension that forms in your body and anywhere. And then release that tension and imagine that thought floating away. Now, usually that works very well. If, however, the thought is coming up, and then you're having a reactionary thought to it, that is worth observing. So let's say you're seeing a memory of someone not calling you back. And then the thought that comes up is, he doesn't want me, or he doesn't like me, or I'm not worth it. Something like that, right? So observe that. And then you get to decide if that's true or not for you. Do you agree with it? Do you agree with that? Is that true for you? Is that true? Is that what you want to keep? Yeah, okay, that's the reactionary thought coming up. No wonder you feel like shit about it. No wonder you keep getting reminded of it, so that you can observe it and then detach from it and be like, no, that's not true for me. So look at this instead of like torment or punishment. Look at it like an opportunity to experience more of yourself and feel more love and more joy and more you, right? You're like, oh my God, okay, haha, I've been torturing myself with that. No wonder I was feeling really shitty about it. I'm going to switch now and just like choose a different thought. So that's what I would do, is like examine a couple things. Soothe your body. Usually that can resolve a lot of things. Observe the thought that's getting triggered. Decide it's not true for you and go forward. Also recognize like it's just a thought, right? If it comes up, it's like, it's just a thought. What would I prefer? If there is that deeper emotional processing of like recognition of like, oh my God, I deserve so much love. I can't believe I was saying to myself I wasn't. No wonder it kept like coming up to remind me, right? All these different ways. Hi, Mary. Officially in the state and I feel so good. Nothing can shake you. Wonderful, Miranda. You're stating it. What you state is what you experience. Yeah, my pleasure. I think I also have a podcast episode that is like detaching from like emotional stressful memories or something. It would be in the resource of the podcast episodes. I have like linked a bunch of things. It'll be on the emotions playlist. But that'll like, there's one in there that's like teaches you how to like somatically release it, as if there's like a little fist holding it, and then you open the fist. What do you do when something unfavorable shows up out of nowhere in the 3D? not care. Learn to not, like, it depends. If there's something for you to actually physically do, then you would do it, right? But if it's just something that's coming up that's triggering a thought of like, oh no, whatever. Like, okay, let's use the same freaking example, right? Let's say you wanted to hear back from someone and they didn't call you back. So you're triggered by that and you're making up the story. They're not calling me. Oh, they didn't call me. They don't want to talk to me, all this stuff. So none of that's actually happening, or rather all things are happening at once, but that's the thing that you're internally reacting to. So then you would just change the story and the meaning of like, okay, what's the best case scenario here? What's the most joyful outcome here? And then whatever that is, react to that internally. Right? A lot of times the torment is because you're reacting to something. Let's say that you're manifesting money and your bank account goes negative, right? Now you're going to have your reactions. Don't make up that having a reaction is bad or that it's going to stop you from getting what you want. You're probably going to freak out and cry a little bit. I was in that position a while ago, and that's what happened with me. But then after I finished like being like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I was like, okay, all is well. I know exactly what to do. I'm so good at manifesting money. I went right back into my frame, and then I ended up like going to like my highest grossing year yet. So it was just like a gate that I got to walk through as far as like looking at this squirrely mind and like making meaning from it, right? You are essentially a meaning making machine. So normally if you've been trained to make meanings that, you know, are not really beneficial to you, this is part of the retraining of self to be like, okay, let me look at this in a different way, right? I was like, you know what? This was something I was afraid of. I see exactly how I had projected this from my past thoughts. And also, this isn't what I've been projecting lately, so I know that that's going to turn around too. I'm chilling. I'm not going to make this mean anything. I'm going to keep walking past it, essentially. Like you might have heard me say this before, of when you're walking through the woods, you don't stop and say, oh my God, there's so many trees. These trees are going on forever. I'm never not going to be in the woods, right? You don't do that. You don't just stop and say, well, there's just trees here. I give up. I guess I'm just surrounded by trees now. You keep going. You keep walking the path and you're like, nope. In your mind, you're like, wow, I'm already on the other side. Got out of that so fast, etc. So whatever the meaning is that you're making, if you're tormenting yourself, don't. And you know what's funny is like I've had experiences, like, so you've mentioned that this is like an SP thing. I've had experiences where it was like, oh my God, like they didn't do this thing. And then at first like having a bad meaning to it, but then like having a realization of like, oh, they didn't do this thing because like they're so into me that they needed a moment to like regroup, right? And then that ended up being the case. So it's really like, and if I had stayed in the other reactionary state of being like, oh my God, they didn't, like, whatever. And then just like change your assumption of like people respond promptly or like whatever. But look at what you're doing to yourself and ask, how can I assume something good for myself? How can I make an assumption that benefits me? Right? Because that's the thing, is you're always assuming something. Are you assuming for yourself or against yourself? Are you assuming for your good, or are you assuming for, you know, that's like there's some conspiracy theory against you, conspiracy against you. There is no coup d'etat happening to dethrone you from your own reality. It's just you and yourself. So it's like you in your own head being like, oh my God, everything's going terribly. And then you get to witness the experience of that because your projection of your reality loves you so much. It's just going to like play out the script you give it. So you get to give it the script of like, oh my God, actually things are benefiting me. Oh my God, I feel so much better. Oh my God, every good and wonderful thing that could possibly happen for me happened for me today. Try that one on. Every good and wonderful thing that could possibly happen for me happened for me. Every wonderful thing that could have happened happened. The most wonderful things that could have happened today happened. The most wonderful, delightful, unexpected, magical things happened for me today. How do I deal or respond to my SP in 3D as he's being cold and distant? Well, you're labeling him as cold and distant, babe. Like, you're the one that took a neutral situation and wielded it as a weapon against yourself. have a negative thought and I'm afraid it's going to manifest. I tried everything, but it won't go away. So just decide that your negative thoughts don't manifest. And if it comes up, just be like, that's not a thing. And then even like give yourself the opportunity of being like, okay, so what if it did manifest? What would you do then? I would still just be like, nope, that's not a thing. That didn't prevent me from having anything, doing anything, being anything. You can even state like, no, that just didn't happen. So then if you know that if it did happen in your reality, you would simply revise and say it didn't happen and then switch that timeline. It really has no legs to stand on. It has no legs to stand on. It only has the like ability to scare you. And like let's look at it this way. If it's vibrationally the frequency of fear, that's only ever what it can be. It can only ever offer fear. So you as the selector and chooser of your experience get to be like, oh, well, that's not preferable. That's not a color I want to paint with on my canvas. So then you would just not choose it, be like, no, I'm not using that color. Instead of like getting so hooked into the story, your eyeballs are on it, like, oh my God, I don't want this thing. Great. Take your gaze away. What do you want to happen? What do you want to happen? Oh, I feel so peaceful. I'm not afraid of thoughts anymore. I know my power. I'm very skilled. No matter where I go and what I do, I'm always succeeding. Okay, so this message had been up, so I'm gonna just read it. Has anyone ever said something hurtful to you that you manifest how to make them regret and apologize? If you have, how? So when you have the recognition that it's all you and you're just experiencing the consciousness, then like from my experience and perspective, I've lost a lot of desire to have apologies. Like it's not something I'm hooked on because I'm like, I recognize it was coming from me anyway, but just narratively in the story, I'm just like, yeah, they're like, oh my God, they apologized. And it's just like not something I'm attached to. So then they apologize and I don't even really care about it. It's not something like, I need this apology. I need them to know what they did wrong. It's like, I know, I'm aware of the consciousness I projected and that's why it played out that way. I'm not gonna like, they don't exist outside of you. So you're having them take accountability for something that you did in consciousness, right? Which you can be like, structurally, it makes sense that they would have some sort of awakening and consciousness of resolution and then apologize and come correct. Or if you're shifting to a different experience of the past where they never did that thing, then the apology would be pointless anyway. So it's just like really like narratively, which thread do you want to play out? And then like, as far as how, if that's the case, then it's just so natural of like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to see this person. And of course they apologize. Cause like, they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I thought it was so funny. Cause like, I didn't even care. Cause I know it's all me. Like, so it's just very like almost like laissez-faire. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever. Take it or leave it. How do I deal or respond? I think I answered that one already. Do you have any advice for concussion? I do actually. So lay in a dark room, and just breathe and relax your brain and allow like any delightful thoughts that you have. Don't force yourself to think, but just allow your brain to like heal and like reform, knowing that it's healthy. And I say this as like, if you're experiencing the manifestation of a head injury, then like having that recovery is really nice. Now, I'm answering from back like 10 years ago because I'd had multiple concussions that had occurred. And I had them like handled differently each time. I found that the most effective one and the one I recovered fastest from was when I just like did deprivation. Which I hadn't known about for like the other ones, right? No one told me to just like lay in a dark room. That was something I had to find out myself through research. But that was the most effective. And it makes sense because it's like your brain is resting, it's recovering, it's not getting additional stimulus, right? So breathe and relax and just like let yourself be in that relaxation. You could even do a meditation where you feel like your brain like kind of threading. like energy, like moving through it in like a really pleasant and delightful way if you want to. But I wouldn't try and force any kind of cognitive functioning. Just trust that like your brain knows exactly what to do, and then like rest and relax into it, right? And always like, always saying to yourself, like, my body heals so fast. I heal like Wolverine. I heal so immediately. My body is so perfect. And is there anything else? It's really funny you said that, because I was thinking about concussions yesterday, because I kind of forgot that I'd had any. But I was thinking, literally, I was like, wow, like the most effective treatment for a concussion for me was the laying in a dark room. So maybe I heard your request ahead of time. Hey, Diva. How would you deal with the breakup text? I'm waiting for a conversation in person, but I'm conflicted. How would I deal with it? I would self-soothe. I would not fixate on the text. I would just repeat to myself, everything works out for my highest love, wisdom, and joy. And then I would choose how I wanted it to go. I would overhear that conversation a few times, like internally, right? Instead of overhearing conversations I don't want, right? If you're mentally rehearsing conversations you don't want, that's what you're selecting. Mentally rehearse the conversations you do want and like move forward in that. I would relax. I would like be like, oh, that was a typo or whatever. Don't like fixate on it. Recognize where in your consciousness it was coming from. Can you see where you're like, yeah, I was expecting something like this, or I was like most afraid of something like this. So I was constantly like saying like, what if? Great. Stabilize yourself. Start affirming like, I'm in the best, healthiest, most loving relationship. SP and I are in the most loving relationship. We're so balanced. Everything works for us so easily, etc. Okay, because you think you're dealing with post-concussion syndrome. Just rest. Rest as much as you can. Like, you don't have to force yourself to do anything. Yeah, just literally dark room, no stimulus, breathe, relax, and allow yourself to just have a parade of lovely thoughts. If you're going to have any thoughts, this is a great time for you to observe your thoughts, right? If thoughts are coming up of like, oh, it's not getting better. Oh no, I have this thing. Stop claiming you have it, but just start like thinking, I have really, really lovely thoughts. I would actually recommend that for a lot of people, for just generally like selecting things, is like, do you know how great it is to just be in silence in a dark room with just your thoughts, and like having your thoughts be the best possible thoughts for you? Very powerful. We love. Not saying lay in a dark room all day and do nothing. Live your freaking life. But like for you, for the thing, just take like 5 days. Your brain heals fast. Neuroplasticity occurs quickly. The less you stress your brain out, the less you try and make yourself think, the better, right? Just lay there, breathe, relax. Imagine you're on a lovely vacation. You're luxuriating. You don't have to do anything. Everything's being taken care of for you. You just get to relax. The less you get to think about things, the better. If you have like meal options that are like really easy for you, that don't require a lot of work, just lay down. Don't tell any story about like, oh, I have this thing and it's going to take this long. When I decide, I'm like, oh, this is going to recover in like 3 days, right? Whenever I have something, I'm just like, it'll be fine in like 3 days. And if it takes 5 days, who cares? Like, it's so small in the grand scheme of things, right? I want to manifest my work crush. We've never talked. How can I manifest them? You're already together. You're in your best life. I have a full week to prepare, and I'm trying not to spiral. That can like kind of like decide that works to your advantage. Just be in your state. Focus on yourself of like, I'm magnetic. I'm beautiful. Everything works for me. Everyone wants to be with me. I'm in the best relationship. I'm in the best place of my life. What to do if you get the same negative thought repeatedly? Repeat the same thought you want repeatedly. Just like look at it like thoughts are floating through the ethers and you're looking at them. You're just fixating on those. So like take your gaze away from it. I already described something about like releasing it somatically. There's a meditation on the Joy Channel podcast. It's in my description, in my links. It's under the emotions playlist, but it's like releasing negative thoughts somatically. So that'll just teach you to relax and not like react to it physically. PCS is so gnarly. I've had two. Rest and Sun are so good. Yeah, I've had 4, not to brag. I had 4 concussions. Actually, I had a couple more other things, but there were 4 diagnosed concussions and then like other like gnarly things. But and then I ended up like, I used to work at a neural rehab center. So, which is funny because that was the last time I got a concussion, was a car accident while I was working at the neuro rehab center. But I get to learn a lot about like brain recovery, right? That was like what I did study for in school. Genuinely, years of health stuff disappeared in days after taking these tips. Exactly. Like literally, like guys, I'm not speaking here from like, oh, this is like kind of effective and it might work a little. It's like if you actually do and apply these things, it just simply works. This is the way consciousness forms, right? Like you are formed of your consciousness. If you keep fixating on it, it's not healing, it's not healing, it's not healing. Guess what? You're going to experience it not healing. If you're experiencing like, my body is so healthy, my body recovers fast, I'm just going to give myself a parade of lovely thoughts and feel good about it, that's what you will experience. I made a mistake when I was giving the termination agreement. I could have asked for it and signed the agreement. Can I change this so my payout will be more? You can do whatever you want. You could just like be like, oh my God, I got double what I was expecting. Cool. Oh my God, thank you so much for the gifts, Good Vibes. It's been a minute since I've seen you, Good Vibes. It's been a minute since I've seen Latha too. Hi, Stacy. Elegance, thank you for applying. Thank you for applying the tips. Thank you for applying what I say. I love it when people apply. I love it. I love it. Do you have any advice on manifesting while the body is experiencing anxiety? So this is actually how I started with, when I started manifesting, I manifested my body to be recovered. And during that, I had anxiety. I was diagnosed with like general anxiety disorder, as well as PTSD, CPTSD, panic disorder, etc., and depression. So, in the meditation and recovery of my body, I realized that those were all patterns formed of my consciousness. So as I reformed my consciousness, those things naturally stopped affecting me in that way. And I became very conscious when I would become aware of that label coming up. So for instance, if my heart rate would start to increase, I would notice like, oh God, a panic attack is coming on. So then I got like really good at observing like, oh, actually that's not what's happening. Heart rate increasing does not mean panic attack is coming. Heart rates can increase for so many reasons, but I had tied some things together. And this is what can happen when you label and pathologize like physical responses, right? Sometimes you just start going down the thing of like, oh, I have anxiety, I have anxiety, I have anxiety, instead of like separating and recognizing what's actually happening here. So the word anxiety comes from the Greek anxios, meaning tension of the mind. So what's happening with anxiety is you have a lot of thoughts swirling around, unresolved, that are causing a symptomology in the body of tension, of projecting fear into the future, of just a lack of resolution too. So when you observe your thoughts, you get to recognize like, oh, I can change the pattern. If I change the input, the output changes. When I change what I'm feeding myself, it changes. So just simply where I would start is breathing. And I know it's so funny because like I used to like fight against this when I was in college. I did an independent study in stress and anxiety because I was curious as to like, why am I having panic attacks, right? And in that study, I like learned all about all these different like autogenic meditation, blah, 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 all these other things. And I was like, okay, cool. And then it wasn't until like 6 years later, I actually started to apply it, because I got to a point in my life where it was like, I couldn't move forward with it, right? What you repeat runs through your system. So it's a matter of actually observing your thoughts, witness the thoughts that you're moving through. You recognize, separate yourself from them, recognize, I don't have to keep repeating these. These are just the ones that had become my autopilot playlist by accident, right? I like to joke, like, we have a Hot 100 playlist. So mine used to be things like, I hate my life. I'm in so much pain. I'm so anxious. Everything sucks, etc. Right? When I realized that that's what I was pushing through my body, I was like, I'm cutting this off. This is not happening. So then I like breathed, and I was like, well, what would I be thinking if I were joyful? And I was like, I can't, at that point in my life, it took me a minute, right? I was like, I can't even imagine what that would be like. Like, what would it be like? So then I played a game with myself, and I was like, all right, something's going to remind me today of that joy. And then a friend texted me a little while later. It was the perfect friend for this, because it was like, she was younger than me. I saw her as like this like beautiful, adorable, innocent child. And when she texted me, I felt like my heart light up, and I was like, oh. And then so I actually examined that, and I was like, well, that feeling didn't come from her. It came from me, right? So what is it that I think of her, right, that made me feel that way? And it was like, oh, she's just so beautiful and lovely and deserves all the most wonderful things in the world. And it was like, in that moment, I was like, if I can think that about her, I can think that about me. So then I started breathing and like thinking those things about me. And then as memories would come up, I was able to integrate them, because I was able to witness them lovingly and being like, oh, you just didn't know. You didn't know how to handle it differently. It's not like you're a bad person. It's not like you did anything really wrong. It's just you handle it the way you knew at the time, with the tools you had at the time and the thought patterns you had at the time. So anyway, the question was advice on manifesting while the body is experiencing anxiety. And it's like, yeah, recognize that you get to think thoughts that are like benefiting you. Stop labeling it as anxiety. Just recognize like, okay, my body is tensing in response to this. What would my body relax in response to? And also like stopping labeling it as anxiety really helped me. And I did fall back into a pattern of labeling it as anxiety very briefly a couple years ago, because I was trying to like speak in a language that was relatable to the people around me. But what happened was then I started experiencing the symptomology of it, because I had put focus on it, right? And then I realized that I don't need to be relatable to people I don't want to relate to. So, oh, you were out of the country. Amazing. Thank you for such effective explanations. You love Rosemary University. I love that too. Do you recommend I have like imbalances going on? Why do you keep thinking something's wrong with you? This is the thing. You like stop assuming something's wrong with you. Why don't you assume all the infinite things that are correct with you? You're literally formed of consciousness. Be the consciousness of, wow, everything's going so well for me. Stop assuming there's something wrong with you. You're the one that's making that so. There's no secret thing that's wrong with you that's fucking your life up. It's just simply what you keep perpetuating as a pattern. It's taking the template you're giving it, and it's 3D printing from you. You want different results, be a different source. Any suggestions on appearance change / shifting to younger version of self? Thank you. Yeah, oh my God, I look so young. My skin is so glowing. Like everyone's remarking on how young I look. I love that like my skin is just perfect. I'm gorgeous. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, I'm always like receiving compliments. I look so gorgeous. I look the best I've ever looked. How do you deal with SP in 3D? I don't. Like you're just already in your like perfect relationship. Like stop trying to like meddle with stuff and just like let yourself receive the versions of things that you want, right? It's like I'm trying to like, okay, it's like if you have a favorite brand of lemonade, and then your not favorite brand of lemonade, a brand that you don't like, is in front of you. You don't like the taste of it, but you're drinking it because it's there, when the other brand is like literally like already like on its way to you walking through the door. So it's just like, why are you bothering with this like brand you don't like? when like you literally are getting it anyway, because it always comes to you. So it's just a matter of knowing that everything you want comes to you, which can take a little practice, but like once you get really good at it, then it's like game over, right? Stop drinking the lemonade you hate and then complaining about it. It's like, oh my God, this lemonade sucks. And it's like, no one's forcing you to drink that. You're like, oh, well, it's here, so I guess I'm just going to drink it. Let's not apply that. So it's most important to trust the process. It's most important to trust you. This is all you, babe. Trust that you decide well. Trust that things form from you easily. And if you require more trust, even affirming like, wow, I trust myself. Trust. I feel so much trust. I trust my ability to handle things. That's also anxiety. What I found in my personal exploration of self, a lot of anxiety loops for a lack of like answering trust in self. So when I actually examined, like, what was I afraid of? Like, what were these anxiety? What if this thing happens? I posted a post about this like last week. What if this thing happens? And then closing that loop by being like, well, what if it did happen? What would I do? And then actually like witnessing myself the way I would handle it. I was like, oh, suddenly the fear just went away, because it was like, I can handle anything, you know? Sometimes that anxiety comes up. It's like, I don't know what I would do. If you're casting the spell of I don't know, you're keeping yourself in unconsciousness, whereas you are the consciousness of all things, or rather, you are a singular perspective, but you have access to the consciousness of all things. You just have to simply choose it. I didn't type, I meant I have balance and motor problems. Would you recommend general what does you are everything mean? Meditate on it. Don't you meditate on I am the source of all things. Meditate on I know exactly what I'm doing. Meditate. Just breathe. Do you know? And when I say meditate, what I mean is breathe and simply like focus on that phrase and breathe. And you can even ask, like, show me what this means. Show me for the highest love, wisdom, and joy. What I like to also do a lot of the times when I meditate is I'll set my field and I'll just say like, I'll imagine like an orb around myself. And I'll state, only energies of the highest love, wisdom, and joy are in my field. Right? That's a decree. Only energies of the highest love, wisdom, and joy. And then I'll meditate and I'll be like, okay, show me what this means. Right? And what you're doing is you're asking broader consciousness to give you images or words or auditory stuff so that you can like perceive of it. Like, you can also like play with it in different ways. If you're not receiving something, you'd be like, tell me in a way I will fully understand and integrate, right? Give the command, give the order. I wouldn't keep affirming balance and motor problems. I would say my body is so balanced. And what I would physically do is I would slow the fuck down, right? I used to have balance and motor problems. In it, I learned to slow down and actually be very present with my body and myself. You have the Healthy State program. I added another audio earlier in the week, last week, I don't know, Sunday, on interoception and subtle muscle movement, subtle muscle control, which actually, I think that was in response to the message that you sent me on Instagram. So if you have not done that meditation, highly recommend it. It's going to guide you through your body in a really slow, intentional way to just notice subtle muscle movements. Interoception is your ability to feel within your body to like very subtle levels. So just simply going through that. And then before you move anywhere, this was like when I was having a lot of motor issues, like I was trying to move so fast and get places so fast. When I learned I don't have to rush anywhere, and I was just really intentional with like, all right, I'm going to go, let me play a game of how can I move so slowly and luxuriously? So I'd put my foot down and I'd feel really like all the muscles of the feet touching the floor, put the other foot down, and then I'd slowly stand and I'd observe my body, observe the chains of muscles moving from the bottoms of my feet through my calves, through my thighs, through my core, feeling how it all connects. Because that's the thing, is a lot of times people are moving through lives in a way that feels more disconnected because you haven't slowed down and actually felt yourself. You don't have to rush anywhere. Simply be present with you. And also, like, always stating, like, I'm perfectly healthy, I'm perfectly balanced. Because once you start moving more slowly, intentionally, your body naturally rebalances. This is also something I've noticed because I've been walking a lot lately, is the way my body was rebalancing. So like, I was walking like 5 miles a day and stuff. And I started noticing, like, for a little while, it was like if I had a foot or a knee thing come up, and then I would just simply, as I'm walking, tell my body, like, wow, my knee is so perfect, my body's so perfect, it's just restructuring, it's just rearranging. And then my whole posture would shift, right? So instead of getting in my head, 12 years ago, I probably would have been like, oh God, my knee, I have a knee problem, my knee is blah, 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 whatever. Oh, I have an ankle problem, I have a foot problem, right? And then so I'm like pulsing like dis-ease at it, instead of being like, no, my body knows what it's doing, it's just shifting. Oh, I felt a little discomfort as it rearranged, big whoop, right? And that's also applies to anything. If you're manifesting anything with body, money, SP, oh, you're noticing a little discomfort as it's rearranging, big whoop, it's still perfect. Wow, I'm so glad it's so perfect. Keeping pulsing that out, like, my money is so perfect, my job is so perfect, my family is so perfect, wow, this person's so perfect, I have the perfect relationship. You don't stop doing it to pulse out shit, right? Be like, this is horrible, this is horrible, this is horrible. Why are you doing that? Why are you pulsing that through you? Cut it out. Take some accountability. Manifested on time crunch by tonight, and I got a no this morning. I'm assuming it's just purge. I don't even like label it as a purge or anything. I also don't really refer to things as manifesting on a time crunch, right? Because it's just the now moment. So just like, I have it. No, I already have it. Already have it. Already have it. Already have it. Nope, they give me a yes. They give me a yes. They corrected it. Already got it. Already done. I have it. It actually worked out in the best way. They actually came back with an even better like offer. Like, it's even better than I was expecting last year. Oh my God. Like, whatever. Have it work for you. Be like a beautiful little artist and paint it in the way that most benefits you. Be a wonderful author. Write the story in the way that benefits you the most. And you can even, in that meditative state, when you're clear, like, ask questions of like, what would be the most wonderful way this could imagine? And then you can say like, wow, and it happened even better than I imagined. Okay, so I got my oil changed yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And as I was like waiting for it to be done, I just said to myself, I was like, wow, it was even cheaper than I imagined. It was even cheaper than I was expecting. And then I went and I like, they called me to come get the car. And so I got my car, and it was cheaper than I imagined. It was way cheaper than I imagined. It was like the cheapest oil change I've had in like literally like 10 years probably. But like, I just thought it was so funny where I was like, I just simply decided, I was like, yeah, it's cheaper than I imagined. And I left it like kind of open-ended like that, instead of like picking a number, right? Which I've done before with car stuff. Like, I've been like, it's going to be like $1,200 or something, or it's going to be like 30. Just depending on what, right? But I was just like, it's going to be cheaper than I imagined. And I like that general, like, better than I imagined, cheaper than I imagined, faster than I imagined, easier than I imagined, because it's like, I can be imagining the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things and then still get it in an even better way. And that's not the same as like this or something better, right? Because it's like this and even better, kind of. Yes, and. Yes, and, not no, but. I'm waiting to hear from job I applied to. 3D is not showing anything yet. How do I stay calm? You already have it. You already have it. The 3D is following you. You're showing the 3D. The 3D is not showing you. Do you get that? You're showing the 3D in your head and your being. You're showing the 3D. You're giving it an image, and it must imprint from that. It must print from that. This, you're giving the image, and it comes back to you. So you control the 3D. You're literally telling it what. So as far as like, how do I stay calm? You already have the job. You're already calm. You have your perfect job. You're so happy. It worked out even better for you. You're getting paid more than you thought you were. You get more benefits than you thought you were. Something like that. Oh. Does the way you word affirmations matter? I keep overthinking that subconscious won't understand. Your subconscious is like you, right? So if you understand it, it's going to understand it. If you have thoughts coming up of what if it doesn't understand, that's just a thought. That's not real. You say like, no, my subconscious understands perfectly. My subconscious is intelligence. Of course it knows what I'm talking about. That's just a silly thing. I used to have that. That was part of like the rumination and like anxiety and OCD stuff. But like, I don't have that anymore because I started being like, no, it's exactly perfect. And then if you want to clarify, just being like, no, my subconscious knows exactly what I'm talking about. My subconscious knows that I'm talking about this thing. And you can even like define it and clarify it if you want, and then continue saying it the way that you want. But that thought coming up doesn't mean that you have to change anything. You're just like, no, it's exactly the way I want it. My subconscious knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? Who was it? I think Gigi was saying like, you know, if you say like, oh, my sister's always so mean to me, and you have two sisters, your subconscious knows which sister you're talking about, right? So your subconscious is intelligence. And it's just like there's this level of fear in the conscious languaging community where it's like having to say everything exactly perfectly, when really it's like your intelligence of the invocation that makes it happen, right? So you knowing exactly what you're talking about, your subconscious is going to know. Your subconscious is not separate from you. It's just, imagine your consciousness is the selector and you're putting it into the 3D printer essentially. So it can only follow like what you're saying. So if you know what you're talking about, it's going to know what you're talking about. As long as you know what you mean, you should be right. Yeah, my pleasure. Appreciate your reminders that I'm sourced and everything. It's already mine. I forget a lot. So just remember, like, if you guys had like a couple anchor sentences you said to yourself in the morning, like you wake up. I used to wake up. What did I used to say? I used to say, I used to jump out of bed. Like, this was like 2019. I would jump out of bed. I'd be like, I'm ready, universe. I'm here. And let's make today the most magical day yet. Every good and wonderful thing that could possibly happen for me is happening for me today. And then I'd like high five myself. I'd be like, yeah, let's go. So just like, if you had some sort of like fun like thing where you, when you get out of bed, you're just like, I'm the fucking source, or like whatever you want to say, like you just do it. Spending time together with SP, what is a good affirmation? What do you naturally think? An affirmation is just your natural thought. Like, so you're with your SP, what are you thinking? Like, oh, I'm so glad we're together. Like, we're the best couple ever. We're like, I'm literally in the best relationship of my life. Like, what are you thinking and saying like naturally, right? Doubts keep popping up after seeing in the 3D. It's so annoying having to be like, no, that's not me. Who cares? You want to know something funny? Okay, so doubts, I like to look at it like, look at the word DOUBT. And then so it's like a doubt is like, do you believe this? Doubt the doubt. A doubt comes up, yeah, fucking doubt it. It is doubt. It's doubt, so you should doubt it. It's telling you what its name is. It's a doubt. I'm going to doubt that. Oh, this isn't going to work for you. Fucking doubt it. Everything works for me. Doubt the doubt. It has no power over you. It's just simply a suggestion that you can take or not. I'm not going to take advice from a doubt. I'm going to doubt the doubt because it's literally what it is. Do you post this live on YouTube? I want to watch it again. I have been thinking about posting my lives on YouTube. I might post this one. I definitely want to post one from the other day that I had recorded. I think I downloaded it, so I'll like make sure I put that up. How to scare a fire alarm now. I'm constantly worried about my house. Okay, so give yourself safety, right? Cultivate some safety. Recognize that you are safe. That thing happened. You witnessed that in consciousness, and you're also safe. What did you learn about that? Well, I learned that I am safe because nothing really bad happened, right? It was a scare of a fire alarm. You're safe. Everything's benefiting you. Aw, thanks, Gina, for booking a call with me. You get exactly what you want. You always get exactly what you want. You are loved, you are valued, you are cherished. Everything benefits you. You do not have to worry about being who you are. Ask yourself, like, what? All right, I'm the creator in this situation. What do I desire to be my experience? I'm always safe. This is just reminding me that my preference is that I'm always safe. So I'm going to repeat, I'm always safe. My astrology says wealth comes to me slowly, but I really don't slowness. I stopped caring about astrology after I manifested changes to my chart. I had an aspect I didn't like, and then I was like, well, fine, next time I look at it, it's going to say something completely different. And then the next time I did look at it, which was like a couple months later, it literally said the opposite from what it had, where it was like, this thing's unfair. And I was like, well, I choose. So like literally reality is infinite. That means that the iterations of astrology you're perceiving of are infinite. So look at it like an invitation. If someone gives you an aspect you don't like, just like with a tarot reading, right? That's just the translation of the energy of the moment. If you see something you don't like, you get to be like, nope, not for me. Actually, money always comes to me so easily and quickly. You're the creator, right? If anything, it was just telling you the consciousness you were being at the time. How to deal with the brain always bringing up the past. Stop making your brain separate from you. Your brain is just a manifestation of the consciousness you've been being, right? It's the thoughts you've been firing through. So now you're teaching it to fire new thoughts consistently by choosing those thoughts. When the old thoughts come up, you're just like, no, nah, nope. Should I be like, I don't think that even happened. I must be imagining it. Hold on. What was the last thing that you said? Let me scroll back up. Oh, doubts keep popping up after seeing in 3D. So annoying. No, that's not me. So you said, should I be like, I don't think that even happened. I must be imagining it. You could say whatever you want. You could be like, that literally doesn't matter. That's nothing. I was having a conversation with a girl. This was like many years ago, but I was having a conversation about a man, and I was like, oh, well, I like these things, but then it's like this part I don't really like. And I said that to her, and she goes, that's nothing. And it's like, I've taken that and I've applied it to so many things, right? Like this little thing that I was like, which I still didn't end up dating that person because I didn't want to. But I took the lesson of that's nothing. And that's the important part. So like now when a thought comes up, just being like, that's literally nothing. That's nothing to me. I'm not giving that value. I'm not assigning it a value of like something that can affect or change my life. That's literally nothing. That's just like a passing whisper, a passing fart in the spacesuit of life. I don't need it in my container. I saw that. Hi, Gina. I'm so excited to see you again. I saw you, I believe, January, maybe? Was it January, February, something like that? If you are the same Gina that I'm thinking of, which I thought that you were because I remembered yes, exactly. Okay. I hope your wonderful job has been going well. I'm excited to see you. Okay. I love that I can change my astrology. Thank you. Yeah, you're the infinite creator of your reality. You think that stops at like fucking squiggles on their chart? No. People out here revising death and you're like, some space math is tripping you up? No. Also, like, if you have a habit of thinking your brain is somehow separate from you, start telling the story of like, wow, my brain always gives me the best thoughts, even though it's like not even your brain. All of this is consciousness. All of this is the mind, right? If you look outside, kind of look at it like you're looking at your own mind right now. You're just looking at the things that have been flitting through your mind. Choose to like focus on the ones that you like. You have a great memory. I do have a great memory. And I used to tell the story, I didn't have a great memory. After I had those 4 concussions, I used to say I didn't have a good memory. I was also on a lot of medications for the pain I was in. And then I stopped telling that story. I started telling the story that I have a great memory, and I do. And that's why I memorize pages and pages and pages of poetry and rap that I like share. So do you have any book recommendations? For what topics? I mean, I recommend my books. Look at the four beauties over there. But that's if you like, I wrote those for people who want entertainment with manifestation reality selection, because I found that like a lot of it's so serious. So I just wrote a bunch of rhymes that remind you that you're the source, you're the creator, etc. Book recommendations as far as like any specific topics. I don't generally. What I've been reading a lot myself lately are like research papers, because I'm like putting together some things for you guys of like all these studies that show that your thoughts affect your biology, because I just felt that would be helpful for people who are like choosing their biology, choosing their body. There's so many papers that are supporting it, especially like, and there's more and more every year. Not that you need that to manifest, but I do know that my experience, I got a degree in biology, and when I was shifting my body into health, having these things come into my head and knowing them was very helpful. So I'm making a guide, and I'm making the guide be like able to be read by anyone, but also like really, really useful. I found it on, how do I manifest 50K? Why don't you just say you're not in debt? Like, you're not in debt. It got paid off. It already got paid off, and you have $50,000. Already got paid off. You have $50,000. It's already paid off. It's already paid off. It's all paid off. It paid off so easily. Wow, it got paid off so easily. You're not in debt anymore. You're not in debt. Wow, you found out that was like, you did that and they canceled the debt. What did I just fucking say? Exactly, elegance. I'm not in debt anymore. So many people are trying to like, manifest A to manifest B, and it's like, well, just, why don't you just say like you don't have the thing? Like sometimes people are like, how do I manifest this money for this surgery? And it's like, why don't you just manifest that you don't have the physical thing you would need surgery on? $5,000 reduced to 2, reduced to 0. I love that. Congratulations, elegance. You're so good. I love your stories. Oh, you look so pretty. Thank you. I do. Yeah, it already got reduced. Wow. I'm not in debt anymore. It got completely like paid off. Isn't it awesome? It just got paid off. It just completely got paid off. That's awesome. Congratulations. It's exactly the way you wanted it to be. Also, I want to say, like, it's the consciousness you are at the time, because when I had an experience of like, I remember this was before I knew about conscious manifestation. I just knew about like energy healing and stuff like that. So I was trying to like resolve a problem, and then I ended up manifesting a surgery to repair the thing. That's fine. It's not wrong. And then when I had like different medications, I was like selecting that they worked for me, right? So it's like, it's not wrong however you want to do it. It's just like, this is your experience of consciousness. This is your rodeo. Now how I prefer to do it is that just like, I'm like, my body's perfect. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, if I need something, I'll like intuitively know and just follow it. So it's not making anything wrong. It's just simply like what feels like the easiest pathway for you at the time. What feels like the most logical for you at the time. Like, for instance, it was so freaking funny for me. On the salt shaker post, someone like commented, I thought it's supposed to happen in a way that's logical. And I was like, that was logical for me. That was logical for me. Like, I just repaired my spine in 3 days. So poofing salt into a salt shaker seemed logical to me. I was just like, well, if my body has all the atoms it needs to be perfect, then there's salt in the salt shaker. how to deal with, like, because of this in the past. So that's why someone is like this in their adulthood narrative, because it's like making it as we cannot change the reality. So what I've done specifically with like shifting people in my reality is recognize, like, have you had moments in time where you've had a realization and it completely reorganized the way you thought and responded to things? I'm assuming you have. So afford other people in your experience that same opportunity, right? So what I will do is I'll just imagine them. I'll be like, whatever they needed to realize this thing, they realized. Whatever they needed to realize to become this person, they realized. Or if you want to revise it and be like, no, that never happened, you can do that, right? And reminder, revision is just choosing in the now. So you're just choosing the now path of like whatever it is, right? You don't have to go back and change the past. You're simply selecting in the now that there was a different past. It's a lot less effort than you might be trying to put yourself through. Choose what feels good for you. Choose what feels easy for you. I'm a big fan of like minimizing, like making it the smallest minute movement, right? If there's like, what's like the half a degree movement that just makes it, oh, it's just clear, it's just here, right? Instead of like, and I think that that's sometimes the thing too, is like people thinking like, oh, this is the opposite, instead of recognizing it's not really the opposite, because there's infinite iterations of reality. So to assume that this is 180 degrees converse from what I want is just like ignoring all the things that are there. What state are you at? The state of joy. Meaning you shift your awareness when something bad happens in the past. You're in the now moment. So the only place the past or the future can exist is in the now moment too, right? So it's just what you're imagining in yourself. Hi, Sana. You're imagining like bad things or good things in any direction, but the now moment is the one you're living in. So when you're imagining a past as good or bad, you're feeling and experiencing that in the now in your body, right? When you're imagining a future, you're imagining and feeling it now in your body. So choose one that benefits you, and then that naturally is, if you know it, that's the way that the time shifts too. Yeah. I was like, is there anything else I want to add there? No, that's just it. Beautiful beings. So just like choose now. Now's the moment. So it's just like, okay, I'm successful now. Everything's working for me now. I'm receiving the most beautiful things now. I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise now. I'm rich and famous now. I am loving my body now. I'm healthy right now. Thank you guys for tapping the screen and everything. I just got the notification that said the puzzle piece where it's like inactivity, and I'm like, okay, just y'all can tap and let it know that there's people here. Thank you so much. You're right. I can just do what is easiest thing to do rather than make it hard for myself. Exactly. And even if you just like walk through your day to day of being like, what's the easiest way this can happen, right? And if we think about like conservation of movement, conservation of energy, it's like the universe, tends to want to structure in a way that's the easiest anyway, right? If there's a pathway that it can just slightly, reorganize itself easily, it's going to do that. So for healing my nose in that instant, what was that? That was taking time out of the equation. Instead of having the thing of, it's going to take a long time to heal, which is what I was taught as a child. I took that out of the equation and I said, no, it knows exactly how to heal. It has all the instructions. There's nothing stopping it from healing right now. It has all the resources and whatever to just be completely healed. Therefore, it's completely healed because it doesn't take time to heal. It's healed right now, right? So it's like, instead of thinking of the opposite, it's like it's unhealed and it has to do a 180 to get healed. It's like, no, all it had to do was go and it's healed. That's easy. Take time out of the equation. What do you think the best way for manifesting weight loss? You're your perfect weight. You're exactly the way you want. You're naturally drawn to doing things that benefits your body anyway. You're naturally doing the things that strengthen your body because it's just fun for you. You're naturally eating the foods that most benefit you. You have a great relationship with yourself, with your body, with your mind, with your food. Anything you eat benefits you. Calories don't affect you, and nothing you eat is going to make you fat. Like, whatever story you want to tell, right? I don't know exactly what's going on in your mind. So it's like, whatever the story is, ask yourself, like, okay, the me that has my perfect body, what am I saying about it? My body's just perfect. I love it exactly the way it is. It's composed exactly the way I want it to be. I look exactly the way I want to look. Okay, number 1, I have somehow gotten myself in this loop of I understand manifestation and shifting, but 2, it seems impossible for me, but anyone else, ugh. Oh, that's cute. That's the reality you're choosing for yourself. It's funny because my old manager, who doesn't know about conscious creation, described to me how she landed her new dream job. Stop telling yourself that it's just like... It seems impossible for me, but it works for everyone else. That's, I'm not gonna say pick me energy, but it's just like, oh my God, of everyone in creation, I'm the only one it won't work for. Oh, woe is me. I'm such a victim of my own circumstance. It's literally like, you know, that meme of like the person who has, it's like a boot on the face and it zooms out and it's like that own person's like fist in a boot. Like, I think it's like a kid, but it's just like, it's like you're literally decreeing right now, it'll work for everyone but me. Instead of being like, wow, look how easily this works for everyone, including me. Of course it works easily for me. I'm literally manifesting that it works for them. Congrats. Do the same thing for you. Stop making up the story. It doesn't work for me. Oh my God, I'm so special that I'm just singularly hated by the universe. It's so funny. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm laughing at myself because I know it's ridiculous. Yes, it is. The woe is me mentality. For real. Oh no, I'm so special that I'm the only one it won't work for. It's so funny. And beautiful nails. Thank you. I love them. I love gold nail polish very much. It's mainly what I have my nails as these days. How to take time out of the equation is just recognize that, like, time is not happening linearly, right? Like, time is happening all at once. Everything's happening all at once. If you haven't like looked at like time and how it's happening all at once and how like your consciousness affects it, look at it like you create time. You're the master of time and space. If you haven't played with collapsing time too, it's like sometimes people like leave their house and there's like no logical way they can make it to a place on time, but then they're like, no, I got there perfectly on time, and then they get there perfectly on time, right? It's because you're bending time. It's because you emit time. Time is an emission of you. Time is a projection of the consciousness you're being. One of my books over here. Do I have it? No. It's over here. Emit time. So what you emit is projected back to you through time. And now is the only moment. So babe, you already won. You already won. You're in the now moment, right? Emit. What I emit is mirrored back through time. What I'm looking at is simply the consciousness I'm being in this moment. If I look, like I've said this before, if I look at a leaf on the ground and what I'm saying is, oh, that's such a horrible thing that this leaf is on the ground, like it's dying. Or if I look at it and I say, oh, wow, pretty leaf. That's the consciousness I'm being. That's the conscious projection I'm observing of myself, right? You can be so special that it does work. Oh, thank you. Get out of my brain. Yeah, and if you're not like glazing yourself and talking to yourself like, oh my God, I'm so like, it works for me perfectly. I'm the most perfect manifester on the planet. I'm the most perfect reality selector ever. I'm so good at this. I am creation. I am the best creator ever. I'm so good at manifesting. Everything I do works for me. Everything I do works for me. Anything I choose to do works for me. Thinking works for me. Deciding works for me. Affirming works for me. Those are all the same things. Visualizing works for me. Simply like having a thought pass my field, or even just knowing, having like a general overarching thing of like, the most wonderful things just come to me whether or not I think of them, right? Like, my affirmations work like magic. Whatever I choose is what I experience. All I have to do is simply decide and it happens, whatever. You make your own rules for it. So if you're like, it works for me in this way, it works for me in that way, then you're correct. If you're saying like, oh, it works for everyone but me, it's like boot on the face again, right? So let's take that out of the equation. Everything you do works for you. Period, point blank. Whatever you decide works for you. So if you're like, this works for me so well. And you can even choose, but like, wow, I see all the times I've been consciously manifesting anyway. Because the thing is, everything is a manifestation of the consciousness you've been being. So if you can look and be like, I see exactly how I manifested this. Start saying that. I see exactly how I manifested this. I see exactly how I created this. I see exactly how this was created. I understand exactly how I manifested this. And then you will notice how you've been naturally doing it the whole time, and you just take it and apply it to what you want, right? Bingo, bango. You're a winner, baby. I realized that there isn't anything outside of me. A couple days and I've been on a roll ever since. Yes, there is nothing outside of you. The outside of you is just the inside of you. The outside of you is just the inside of you. The outside of you is just the inside of you. The outside of you is just the inside of you. So change the inside of you, the outside changes. I think I got it. Like, this is it. Oh, I'm glad that you understand it. The outside is me. Exactly, because there's nothing else, baby. It is so easy. It is so easy. Manifestation is the easiest, most natural thing that I've ever done. Why? Because it's a manifestation of my consciousness. I'm experiencing the manifestation of my consciousness. I'm only ever experiencing the manifestation of my consciousness. If I say it's wonderful, that I'm correct. If I say it's horrible, I'm correct, because it's the manifestation of my consciousness. What do you think with EFT tapping? It's enjoyable. I've utilized it before. I used to live with one of my friends who is like the daughter of like this like big EFT tapper, who's like, she's tapped with like millions of people all over the world. So that's cool. That's where I learned EFT. But yeah, and that's a thing I manifested too, was like that living joyful experience. But like when I had been shifting my body, I would just like gently touch myself with my knowing of neuroscience and stuff. I was like, this is increasing my oxytocin and telling my body it's safe. So it's increasing neuroplasticity, which means like I'm wiring it in faster, right? So I would just like touch myself and stuff. And then they have like, this is very similar to havening touch, which I didn't know about at the time either, but I was just intuitively like doing it. There's also like butterfly tapping, which is great for like bilateral stimulation, right? And then there's like, I like the little peace sign, the vagus nerve innervates in the front and back of your ear. So like doing this can downshift your body into more relaxation too. So it'll be easy. Whatever you decide to do works for you. I love manifesting in the shower and I walk into a new timeline. I love that too. I also like doorways. Like you can decide every doorway I walk through, whatever you want to tie to it. Also doing the same thing with like your clothes or your jewelry. If you want to tie a meaning to it, then every time part of you becomes aware that you've got that jewelry on or those clothes on, it's going to replay that affirmation or decision or whatever you want to call it in your head. I think I talk about that in the focus episode. Also, I think the play wizard episode, because it's like, oh, you're like donning your wizard robes, right? Like if you pick up your clothes in the morning and you're like, today's the most wonderful day ever, and you put those clothes on, then every time part of you becomes aware of it and replace that, wow, this is the most wonderful day ever. It's just like more cognitive reinforcement. Hi, Kayla. At least I was giving myself so many rules to when I'm manifesting right, when I can just decide. Yeah, you're always doing it correctly. You're never not manifesting. So even when someone's like, oh, it doesn't work for me, it's like, that's the manifestation of the consciousness you're being, is that nothing works for me. And I would wager dollars to donuts that is not the only place that you're applying that pattern, right? If someone is ever like, oh, it doesn't work for me, it's like, how many things in your life are you saying that about though, really? Oh, this doesn't work for me. Oh, that didn't work for me. You're just like a Debbie Downer, probably. Instead of assuming that absolutely everything works for you, because you are that person, you know? How does one get SP to spend more time with me? You're the person that everyone wants to spend time with. People value and love you and cherish you. Like, what do you think of yourself? Of course he wants to spend time with you. Of course she wants to spend time with you. Of course they want to spend time with you. You are that queen. You're phenomenal. Everyone loves and adores you. So it's like, I can just say EF tapping works for me, literally make my own rules. Yep, you can do whatever you want. Because like, if people say it doesn't work for them, then that's what they're saying. It will work. Anything that you want to work for you works for you. I made a rule that it's easy and I don't have to do anything, and manifesting comes automatically. Yeah, I like, what was one of my favorites was like, wonderful things come to me automatically or something. Just, I like using the word automatically. I am now getting the meds I needed, really focused. Congrats, babe. Your body is perfect. You're perfectly healthy. The meds worked for you in the ways that you wanted them to. I literally caught myself saying, okay, well, now, and I want to tell you guys, when I was shifting my body into being perfectly healed, I was on medications, and I was on Lyrica for a long time, and then they moved it to gabapentin, which was not as effective, but that's because the pregabalin versus the gabalin, the way that it works in the body. We don't have to get into that, but but I remember saying, I was like, okay, well, in my logical brain, I was like, the medication is going to help me decrease pain, which is going to allow me to focus on changing my thoughts better, right? And then I was also like, okay, and like, you know, the GABA receptors, that'll help decrease any anxiety, so that'll help me focus more too. So I just decided, instead of like, I think I've noticed sometimes people who are consciously manifesting will try and like be Hercules about it. And be like, if I were healthy, I wouldn't be on medications, and like being on a medication is accepting some sort of defeat. And it's like, why are you putting that into the equation instead of just being like, literally everything I do works for me? I ended up getting off of those medications like very quickly because I didn't need them anymore. But while I was on them and I was letting them help me, I decided that they helped me instead of like making another op. Like, imagine if I was taking medications and being shitty to myself about it, instead of just being like, nope, this is helping me. And I was taking like, amitriptyline too, which is Elavil, and then tizanidine, which is Xanaflex, which is like Xanax mixed with Flexeril. I had a lot of medications I was on. That's also part of why my memory was so like where it was. And then shifting my body into my body is perfectly healed. My body like is perfect. My body's been perfect the whole time. And then my body was perfect. And then I just naturally like didn't even need to take medications. So let it be easy for you. And I intend that helped a lot of you. I literally caught myself saying, okay, I will now decide, and if I don't see it in the 3D what I want, I'll persist through it, not realizing that it's giving my power away because I decide. Like, the reason I wasn't manifesting before is because I was preparing myself to handle disappointment, which is just lack of trust in my own. Yeah, exactly. Period was 4 days late last night. Said it doesn't matter. I have it right now, and it came this morning. I love that. I love doing that. I mean, you know me. Body is like the easiest thing to manifest, I think. It's all easy to manifest, right? Body's so easy. Money's so easy. Love is so easy. It's all It's all body, really. It's all mind. It's all perfect. Trade all those. It says, how to be like this person that speaks fluent in English and Japanese. What's the takeout of the equations? You are so good at speaking English and Japanese. You learned it so fast. You're so fluent. You're great with grammar. You learn it in the easiest way. Your brain simply absorbs it. It simply makes sense to you. What is the you that's really good at Japanese and English saying? Oh, it all happens so naturally. Great. Hi, Patrick. Welcome. Hi, Jody. Gabapentin is rough. Yeah. Wasn't my favorite, right? It was actually, I think, one of my least favorite things, but I'm just glad I don't have it anymore. My memory is excellent. How am I doing? I'm doing so fabulously. I'm doing so well. I'm loving my life. Everything is perfect and beautiful for me. No matter where I go and what I do, I'm always successful and thriving. What else? Okay. I just got an idea of something I'm going to do later. You're so glad you watched this live. Me too. I think maybe I'll put this on YouTube. I'll put this on YouTube for later. I've been enjoying this conversation. You love my affirmation? Me too. The word affirm means to state as fact, right? And when you look at like military slang and stuff, it's like affirmative is yes, negatory is no, right? So like think of it, it's like affirming, you're just saying yes to it. You're like, yes, this is the thing. This is it. I have the money, I have the happiness, I have the wealth, I have the joy, I have the perfect family, whatever. Otherwise, what are you saying yes to? You're affirming, I don't have this, it's not working. Everything is an affirmation of something. So what are you affirming? What are you stating as fact? You live to watch this live in the background while you do work. Would love to watch them on YouTube. Okay, guys, I'll start putting them up. I'll do it. Twist my little arm. Speaking of arms, I lifted 400 pounds of sand yesterday. Not all at once. It was in 50-pound increments, but still I was like carrying bags of sand for the pool, which I could have asked for help for, but I really wanted the workout because I hadn't been lifting lately, and I was like, I'm gonna do this myself. And I was like, I'm so strong. And now I'm like feeling my arms a little bit today in the best way. I like how you're explaining without being harsh. Some mentors seemed annoyed. Listen, anyone who's been here for a little while, I'm sure you've seen some times where I've been a little annoyed. And I think that that's just like a capacity thing of recognizing of like, sometimes coaches will get a little bit annoyed if you've answered the same question so many times. And it's also like sometimes coaches have an internal frustration of like thinking of all the times where they've done the same thing. So it's just like a little grace for everyone where it's like, that's not how they are all the time probably. And if they are, then, we just choose to connect with other people. But some people. Why does bad things, hurtful circumstances happen? I mean, when we're not conscious of them. So everything exists in existence, right? Literally everything happens. Everything that could possibly occur has already occurred in consciousness. And you as the conscious observer, the witness, are simply poking through some eyes to witness and experience it. The bad, hurtful circumstances, I'm going to answer this in a few ways. Let's look at this from a couple different levels of consciousness, okay? And this is not hierarchically levels. This is just more of like frames. Let's look at it through different frames, okay? Let's look at it first through the frame of all that is. So you're the consciousness of all that is. If you want to call that source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. It's not attached to any particular religion. It's just the I am all that is, right? When you are the consciousness awareness of all that is, holding all that is, you're not really in the individuated singular perspective of feeling the intensity of all things, right? Or maybe you do feel it intensely, but like it's when it's just the one thing you're feeling, just the one perspective, it feels so much clearer because there's not all the other colors of the rainbow there, right? So, as the singular individuated perspective zooming in through this, that's the only time you get to experience bad hurtfulness, right? When you are all that is and you are aware of like, wow, this is all love, this is all joy, this is all consciousness and presence, that is the broader perspective. But when you zoom in on the dualistic perspective where there's black, there's white, there's good, there's evil, there's whatever duality illusion, then it feels so intense because that badness is the only thing you're accessing in that moment. And that's why pulling back also and witnessing differently can be helpful. That's one perspective, one frame to look through is like, this is your opportunity as all that is to play human, to play character, to play frame of, I get to feel bad for this blip in time. How exciting for me. Another perspective is like, I'm witnessing a story play out and this bad, hurtful circumstance is awakening me to the realization that I do not have to continue on that pathway. You can look at it like touching a hot stove. So in touching the hot stove, you learn to not touch the hot stove. However, it's the meaning you make of it. If you made up the story, oh, stoves are evil, and that's what you're carrying through your life, then that's the conscious perspective you're going to have. Versus if you just learn of like, oh, when the fire is on, I don't touch it because that would burn me, right? So it's like, okay, what's the meaning you're making? What's the story you're telling? And how do I do this? Now, the third frame we're going to look through is recognizing that it's neutral. It's not actually bad. It's just an event that's happening because all things are happening at once. I looked at this and I labeled this as a bad thing before I remembered and became aware that it's all things at once. So I looked at that, labeled it bad. What's a different perspective I could have on that? Oh, that's just nothing. That's literally a transient moment that's flitting through space. And now I get to experience something completely different. Now it's like, oh, I don't prefer that. Great. Good thing it's irrelevant and moving through. What do I prefer? This. Well, then that's what I get to experience. So I know that helped. You've witnessed that, and from taking people's energy. Can you take us through the internal shift of manifesting contact from people? Sure. Hold on. So, feel in yourself. Let's do a little exploration of consciousness. Feel in yourself. Have you ever had any times? We'll do this in multiple ways, okay? Because this is just the fun game day we're having. I'll do this in a couple different ways. Have you had times where you've known someone's going to contact you and then they did? Have you had those times? If yes, do this one. If not, we'll do another one after this. So I want you to breathe and feel into your body. And if not, imagine it, okay? I want you to feel that thing of like, oh, this person's going to reach out to me today. And just that knowing of like, oh yeah, I knew I was going to hear from them and then I did. And how? Oh, because it's the manifestation of my consciousness. I just knew it. I just felt that certainty in my body. So breathe and replay a couple of them because I'm sure you've had it happen more than once. You just felt, oh, this person's calling me or this person's reaching out. Feel that. Feel that. Breathe it in your body. Be in that certainty of state. Allow it to go deeper. Allow any thoughts that are not of that to just float away. You don't have to pay attention or look at them at all. Just look at, I knew this person was calling and they're calling. Perfect. Excuse me. And feel that knowing. Think of other things that you knew where it's like you felt in your being like, oh, this is going to happen, and then it happened. I just knew that was going to happen. Yeah, because you selected that. You manifested that. That's a manifestation of your consciousness. I knew this was going to happen. And just witness that knowing and certainty in your body. So after you've done that a couple times, replay that feeling in your body, releasing attachment to the memories now and just simply being with that knowing. And then as a little game experiment, be in that knowing and then choose to know, like, what are you knowing now? With that feeling, what is that informing you of? I already have the thing I desire. I'm perfectly content the way I am. Whatever it is that comes up, pay attention to that, right? And then you can take that and apply that to other things. Let's go in a different way now, okay? Imagine that person that you're desiring to hear from, and in your being, just feeling and knowing of like, oh yeah, it's their highest joy to reach out to me. It's their highest joy to reach out to me. That's exactly what they want to do right now. That's the only thing they want to do right now, is just reach out to me. It's actually like the most logical and sensical thing for them to do right now is just reach out to me. That's the only thing they want, is to just reach out to me. Whatever story comes out, oh, they've been thinking about it for days, weeks, months, however long, right? And they're just doing it now. They're just simply reaching out to me. It's like their highest joy right now is to just reach out to me. It makes sense. Yep. They're going to reach out to me. I don't even care when. I just know that it's already happened. They already did it. It's already done. And feeling that, knowing that, like, cool, they reached out to me. And it doesn't even matter when I physically experience it, because I know that it happens, and it happens fast because it's already here and decided. So I'm just going to go live my life, go about my day. Wow, it's their highest joy to reach out to me. That's awesome. They reached out at exactly the perfect time too. I love that it just happened, and I didn't care when. I didn't even care when. Didn't feel attached to it at all. I just felt satisfied. Loving, living my life. Oh, they already called. You can like see their name light up on your phone in your mind, or just have the internal knowing of it if you're not a visual person. And yeah, go about your life. Feel the completion of it. Feel it to completion. What I mean is like, just keep feeling it until you feel satisfied. And then keep going. Go about your day. If it comes up in your mind and stuff, just be like, no, they reached out. Oh, they reached out. That's cool. Go about your day. If you have a desired conversation, you can imagine that conversation going the way you want. You can imagine having a conversation with a friend and being like, yeah, they called me. It was great. We got to catch up, cleared whatever needed to clear. Like, we had the most loving conversation, whatever. Is there a third way we want to do this? Yes or no? No, I feel like those two are good. You can comment below. But you notice the internal state of stillness that you had for yourself, right? It's not coming from this cloying, desperate energy. It's not coming from, I need this contact to validate me. It's coming from knowing, or it's coming from, oh yeah, that was just like the highest joy in the moment. I like going that way because it's just like, that I think is how I've like selected a lot of my SP stuff, is because it's like, I prefer going through, it's like, oh yeah, it's just the highest joy. You give the meaning, right? So if you say it's actually working out for you, it does. Yes. You're rewatching this on YouTube. Oh, I'm glad. This is all a game of knowing and consciousness. So what are you conscious of? And you don't even have to do it that way specifically, right? I oftentimes don't. But like, I have done it those ways. There's infinite ways you could do it too. And if neither of those felt fun or resonant for you, Choose to receive a way that you get to utilize. Consciousness is infinite. So perhaps there's a game for you to play with yourself that is perfect for you. But those are just examples, and I'm sure they inspired you to a lot of things. So it's only just me playing games with myself. Namaste, sis. Yes. And I also think it's like, you can also just generally make statements about, wow, I'm always receiving the best messages. I'm always receiving the right messages at the right time. I'm always receiving the best messages at the best time. I'm always receiving a contact at the perfect time. I'm always receiving the most wonderful messages at the perfect time. Like, I'm always receiving the best things at the best time. I'm always receiving visits at the best time. I was always receiving calls at the best time. I'm always receiving letters in the mail at the best time. It's always happening so easily and quickly. I love that I'm just constantly being surprised and delighted by my physical experience. Say things that benefit you. Also, healthy state and create your reality. Oh, and also, hold on, I renamed it to select your reality. And Master Manifestor are all on sale right now. I love these courses. If you vibe with me and connect with me and you want to learn from me in an extended self-paced state, they exist. So, and there's also tons of free resources from my podcast, my YouTube, and of course, the massive volume of TikToks. So it's easy. Also, one-on-ones. I'm really excited to see Gina. Like, I'm so glad that you're hopped back in. Good to see you. Make it easy for yourself. If you're like, this is the easiest way that this works for me, this is the best thing I can do for myself, this is the most joyful thing I can experience, then let yourself experience it in that way. You don't have to force yourself, just like we were talking about with medication earlier. Like, you don't have to force yourself to raw dog it, right? Like, if you already have something that your consciousness like knows works for you, you've probably like felt an experience with medications and you're like, I know this works for me. Great. Utilize it. If you know that doing yoga works for you, if you know that you feel better after you stretch, have it work for you. If you know that you feel better if you don't drink coffee first thing in the morning, like, how are you setting yourself up for success, right? What's the most loving thing you can do for yourself? Do those things. If you are constantly a person who's like, every time I drink coffee, I get so stressed out and jittery, but you keep doing it every day. Or if you're like, every time I smoke cannabis, I get really paranoid. What are you doing? If you're like, every time I talk to this person, I just feel drained and miserable. What are you doing? What are we doing here, fam? Let it benefit you. Oh, thank you guys for 13K likes. I appreciate you. 13.2. And it is the stories that you're telling. So if you're like, oh, I'm jittery, I'm drained and stuff. Yes. And also it's like, would you just prefer to not connect with that person? Would you just prefer to not drink the coffee? Would you just prefer to, right? Because like some people are like, well, I can just revise it and say that I'm not affected in that way anyway. Sure, you can. But what would you actually prefer? You can just stop doing something, right? You can just be like, you know what? I don't have to make myself like this thing I don't like. I could just choose something else. What would I actually prefer? Who do I actually want to connect with? What conversations do I actually want to have? Sis, wow. This is what you needed to hear. I'm so glad. Well, that's why you're here, baby. That's why you're here. Hi, Jolene. Hi, Red Mama. It all works for you. Guys, can I tell you? This is a sweater. This is, I think, supposed to be like a covers up, but I put it on the other night without like an undershirt. I really like it. I'm just like, I'm gonna just wear this just as a shirt instead of like, I think it looks better this way, honestly. For real, same here, especially when you name dropped the lettuce. Well, that's coming from experience. I used to smoke a lot of cannabis for a couple years. It was after I like, well, it was while when I was like recovering from car accident stuff. Even though I was on like, so I was on all those medications I mentioned earlier, and I was like also at some point discovered cannabis, right? And I was like using the excuse of like, oh, it's helping me with my pain, and then like I ended up like connecting with it again even after I'd stopped that stuff. I was like, had a couple years where on and off I would like connect with it for a period of months, and I would always like learn that like I didn't prefer it, but I kept doing it. So then I had to just like tell myself of like, oh, actually I don't even like it, I don't connect with it, it's fine. So how to rewrite your past with your SP. What if they don't remember you the way you want them to? They're you. You are them. So just state they only have good, positive memories of you. They only ever think the best things about you. You only ever think the best things about you. So same. That feeling of contentedness that flows through when I say it's already mine. I want it bottled, LOL. Yeah, and spend more time in that. Like that gets to be your dominant state, right? It's so funny when people are like, oh my God, I have this thing, I'm so satisfied. And then they're like, why don't I have it? And it's like, who are you being right now? Stop going back to the other one. Stop tongue kissing the old reality. I said it before and I'll say it again. Stop French kissing the old story. Putting your tongue all over it. Being like, ugh, right? Because that's really like, as you speak, you create. What's that like? I think it's from the Bible, but it's like the power of life and death is in the tongue. So it's like, what are you speaking? You're like, I don't have this. Who said that? Who said that? Which aspect of consciousness? Oh, I have this. I'm so happy. I'm in the best relationship of my life. I'm making so much money. I'm living exactly where I want to live. My body is perfect. Whatever, you know, otherwise like who's saying? Gross, LOL. Every time you say that, I'm like, why would I do that to myself? Right? And that was the game of consciousness that was being played, was I'm going to forget that I am all that is and that I have it and that I speak my reality into creation so that I can wake up and be reminded of it. Did you make those beautiful paintings behind you? Yes, I did. So this is the cover to my first poetry book, which is Cosmic Poetry for the God in You. That's Frog Wizard. He's not quite finished yet. I need to attach his neck and his head to his body, kind of. Although I kind of do like the floating head. I think it's very funny. This is the cover to my second book. That's behind the board is the cover to my third book. And then this is called Song of the Universe. And then this is Solar Flare, also known as a coronal mass ejection. But I ended up going with Solar Flare. CME. Song of the Universe is gorgeous. It really is. This one took me like a long freaking time to do, because it's got all these dots in it. I like to like tune in. I'll tune into a specific energy. So I tuned into abundance. This was the theme, was abundance. And so it's like a red background and gold. And then I ended up doing some details of like, I got some like white and blue detailings on it just to like give it a little more depth. But as you can see, it's like there's all these, so many dots. And I've got my little lion and birdie and snake and my musical notes. And then there's Saturn is in there somewhere because it looks like a whole note. And then anyway, I love it. I'm like looking into getting prints of it. I want to get like embossed prints though, so that people can like really appreciate the gold. Literally didn't throw away a red cardigan just because you think it won't fit me and you wear it. I do beautiful color palettes. Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, this one is one of my favorites. If you've ever scrolled far enough back on my Instagram, you'll see all the space paintings and stuff. I had like whole space series and goddess series and stuff that I did of just like started out with the goddess series where I would just tune into an energy. So like love, abundance, wealth, joy, peace, and then it would like flow through, and then I'd get like a goddess name, and then so that was my first series. And then I did a cosmic exploration series, and that was really fun. And then this year I've been having a surprising amount of animals come through. So if you saw my stories the other day, you saw the 6-winged crow covered in eyes. His name is Charles. My dimples are dimpling. Indeed they are, aren't they? Having the best time here. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so in love. I'm so in love with my life, with everything, with just like everything I get to do. I just am love. Everything's so beautiful. I'm so happy. Everyone is reflecting beautiful self-concept. I know. I like have the best concept of self, because why would you not, right? I make you feel confident about yourself. I'm glad. You ought to be confident about yourself. That is like, you know, the best thing you can do for you. I'm looking at my book right now. I'm glad that I inspired confidence through you as well. It's wonderful, isn't it? All right, my loves, I'm going to get off soon. My battery is getting low, and I've been on for an hour and 41 minutes. Maybe I'll stay on for another 15, 20. Get closer to the 2-hour mark. But then this is going on YouTube, so I have to upload that. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you watched it before bed. We're having the best time. We're all having the best time. Oh my goodness. I don't remember what I was going to say. I don't know if there was anything I was going to say. Tap the screen a bit there, guys. Yes, thank you for tippity tapping the screen and appreciating me as I appreciate you. You know, the word appreciation, like think of it like with money, right? Where appreciation, things that appreciate increase in value. Like your interest appreciates, you're like appreciating interest, right? So as you appreciate yourself, you're appreciating, you're growing in strength, in number, in value. Even though your value is innate and you're priceless already, as you appreciate, you appreciate. You always eat with these. Oh my God, this beats dis-ease. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You know, if you like my wordplay, you'll love my books. This is full of it, full of them. I'm looking. I'm gonna see if there's like a specific thing. I'm going to read just one page. It's the page I posted in my story the other day, but it's like literally in the middle of a poem. I'm just going to start there. You're selecting your thought forms, informing indeed. All the energy is still you, and the eyes through you see. All the eyes have it right. That's the ego decree. I forgot all my oneness to experience me. I remembered with time, for my life course played me, fiddled right down the river while picking up steam. All the pressure restructured and crystallized me. Through compression, my carbon did gain clarity. It's the diamond that scatters light radiantly. Through the prism this body my soul light does see. My will are the choices I make and I weave, every stitch woven into this grand tapestry. I'll be following threads if I look so closely, but pull back and observe, there's more threads to be seen. Chaos and tangles exist in 3D while I surf time like vines, tesseract reality. It's the quantum mechanics of you and of me, all patterns repeating in spiraling schemes. If you don't like the way you've shown up on the scene, it's your choice to direct to a more perfect theme. Purify your intention, what follows is deed. Flow the light from the center, the source of all things. It's the point through which you calibrate to the ease, because the tide of life flows automatically. Auto, self, matos, thinking. You see what I mean? It's the way your self's thinking that your energy flows. If you're cutting it off with your ifs, thens, and nos, and you're tripped up believing in all of your woes, have you blocked up your pipes with emotions that froze, crystallized you to facts and believe what you're shown? Look through the illusion. There's no thorn and no rose. Still the blooming is fragrant and the spire gives a poke. You're translating the energy of the world that's imposed. With the vibrating out from your mouth you invoke. All your passion is power, a big cosmic joke. You're infinite creation, so don't call yourself broke. You're not broken, in fact, so I know you misspoke. If your value's a number, then how much for your soul? You give power, your energy, to what you suppose is a solid reality, but that's not how it goes. All is changeable, truly a fluid transposed by the way and the day that you focus the flow. All this energy magnifies as you hold your glow. As the waveform is amplified, life will reload. All the feedback restructures as you hold your own. You're the steady vibration that chooses what's shown. They're all, you can find them all in the place where the links live. Also 3 of them are on the TikTok shop, but also they're on the other place that I can't say on TikTok, which in answer to Kaya, yes, it is available there. And it's also available, Kayla, yes, it is also available there. Highly recommend them. And guys, please, please, please leave reviews. Rate it, leave a review. And like, what I like doing with reviews is like, I think of like, what would someone who really needed this be Googling? They'd be like, what's a book that can help me feel X, Y, and Z? So then I would include that kind of thing of like, if you're looking to feel blank, 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 but you know, trust yourself, however it flows out is perfect. I just appreciate, this is the second book. This is the first book. You can find the first 3 all on TikTok shop. I don't have copies of the 4th yet, but it's also in the other place. The tube of you, LOL. Actually, it's the AZ place is what I was referring to, but you can find it through my WEB site. So it's in the links, in the place, in the tree, in the bio. Just like trying to talk around TikTok's filter. Beautiful lyricism. Which one is it? This one was from Quantum Poetry Games with Myself, and the piece that was the 2nd and 3rd page of new piece I'm working on. It used to be PIECE because it was just the new piece I was working on. But then I changed it to PEACE after I finished it. New piece I'm working on. And it's the second to last one in that book. So this is book 2. And if you see this body here, is that body there? That was before I added the little face tendrils, but I took a picture of it through the prismatic window cling, and then I ended up like layering it. So there's more of it. I played around with it a lot. I actually had made a sweatshirt at some point that had that on it. What have you consciously manifested in your life? The whole thing. Everything's a manifestation of consciousness. So literally everything that I have right now, right? I mean, if you think about it too, it's like I selected one day of like, I noticed that I was enjoy writing poems. So I was like, what if I just write a poem every day? And then I ended up starting to write a poem every day. And then people started asking me like, when is your book coming out? And I said, my what? So I put it in a book, and that's how my first book came out. So that was like from the decision of like consciously being like, I'm going to choose to spend time writing poetry every day because I love it and it makes me feel good. And then I would tune into whatever energy I wanted to bring through and amplify in the world. So if it was like tune into love, gratitude, joy, abundance, pleasure, wealth, health. I started, so 3 of those are the Poetry for Consciousness series. And then I started a new series called the Frequency Collection. And the first book is Money Honey. And then I have a couple more books coming in. The next one is probably on love. There's also wellness coming. So yes, excited. And then I'll have another one come through the Poetry for Consciousness series. It's like a couple times a year. I go through my notes app and my notebooks and my Google Docs, and I comb through them and I find the poems and I put them in a document. And then from that document, I choose what's going in the next book. And is there an easier way to do it? Probably. I could just make sure if I'm going to write a poem, I put it all in one place. But I don't, because sometimes I have a notebook with me, and sometimes I have a phone with me, and sometimes I just want to write in a notes app, and sometimes I want to put it in a Google Doc. So it is what it is right now. It'll be more efficient as I go, I'm sure. I want a healthy, happy, loving marriage. I'm currently going through a divorce. Any advice to today? You're in your happy, healthy marriage. If you want the divorce to like continue, it could be like, wow, that divorce went so smoothly. Everyone got exactly what they needed. Everything happened in the perfect way. If you want to bless the other person and be like they're exactly like the perfect person now for their life, like they're like living a really good life. I'm living a really good life. Like we're all in the perfect situation for us, etc. If you want a happy, healthy, loving marriage with that person, then just being like, I'm so glad we didn't get divorced. I'm so glad we have the perfect relationship. I'm so glad that we both slowed down to communicate with each other clearly. We have the best marriage. We have the healthiest marriage. We have the healthiest marriage. We've always had the healthiest marriage. I'm so glad that we're so understanding with each other. I'm in the healthiest, happiest relationship of my life. So it's just like, literally, it's like, what does the you that has it say? What is the you that has it saying already? What's true for you? All the eyes have it right. That's the ego decree. I forgot all my oneness to experience me. I want you guys to read that line because I love it. Can I mirror this? I'm sure I can. All the eyes have, and the eyes through you see, all the eyes have it right. That's the ego decree. I'm a genius. So I just repeated it today. Honestly, I love visualizing my perfect marriage and thinking my favor with getting married again. What are you already repeating today? Can you marshal your thoughts? Can you be responsible for what you're thinking already and like recognize when it's not in your favor and you don't want it and what you're perpetuating? You're literally just decreeing it, right? So decree only that which you desire to experience. Select that which you desire to experience. And if you have like human emotions, if you cry, if you're experiencing that, like that's fine. Like don't make up that that's bad. Don't make up that you're bad. Don't make up that it's not benefiting you. Just let it move through, right? Like let yourself benefit from it. Let yourself be benefited from it. Oh, I'm glad you're gonna get the poetry books. That's awesome. Say what I want in a partner, what I love about him, how easy it was to get married again. Yeah, exactly. That's the what. How can you lean in and trust conscious even more than manifested? Why don't you tell me? You tell me. How do you do that? You already know. Dad's very toxic, controlling. How to change him? You change you. You select the version of you that is internally peaceful, and that selected the version of him that is that way, right? So when I was reformulating the people in my life that were very like angry, yelly, stressful, in selecting the version of them, I saw the version of them update, but inside it was like I chose that version, right? I felt that calmness, I felt that peace. I witnessed the tension I was feeling internally and holding that story, and I shifted it into, nope, they're so peaceful. And then anything I saw, like let's say I was around them and they'd start harumphing or whatever, and I'd get stressed out in my body because I was like, oh no, I don't want this to turn into a thing. Then I'd change it and I'd be like, nope, they're so peaceful. They realized whatever they needed to realize. They realized they didn't want to behave this way anymore. Decreeing someone as like narcissistic and toxic is like there's infinite iterations of reality, so you're literally keep reselecting that that's the experience you're having, that's the reality you're stuck in. So instead be like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm the version of me that manifested the version of them that is perfect. I'm the version of me that selected the version of them that is peaceful and calm. How am I feeling in my body now that they're peaceful and calm? I'm feeling peaceful and calm. I'm not feeling stressed out. So if I start feeling stressed out about them, that's an old version of me reacting. So I'm not going to be that person. Life is so fun and easy for me. It is so fun and easy, isn't it? Isn't it just the best? Isn't life beautiful? Isn't it just the best? I'm going to read this short little piece from this book, Emit Time. It's called I Am What I Say You Are. How I speak about my friends is how I speak about my life. There is no separation. I keep my spirit light. How I speak about my friends and people is how I cast them in the play of my energy. That's how you're casting them in the play, right? Cast in a role, right? And then because you're like casting it, that's how they roll. Think of it like, y'all are appreciating the wordplay today. Let's look at the word cast, okay? I cast it, like casting a spell, like casting out a fishing line. I cast it like rolling a dice. I cast them in a role, like I cast a role in a play. I cast them like I cast a mold. Either way, what does casting means? It's meaning you are tossing something out, or you're creating a frame, a mold for them that they have to be in, a role that they have to be in, right? So what am I casting from my mouth? What mold am I casting them into? What role am I casting them into? What am I casting? Casting as a spell. What is a spell? A spell, a word, the way the word is constructed, the way the word is spelled. What is the word? The word is the invocation. The word also, it means to call forth. The word God also means to call. What you are invoking. Invoke means to speak in. A spell is also a spell of time. Come and sit for a spell, as they say. So a spell of time. As I am spelling it out, I'm creating the spell of time I am now encountering, that I am enchanting. What does enchant mean? To chant it. Just like our ancestors would chant in circle, right? So what you are chanting, repeating, speaking, you are enchanting. You are literally casting the spell upon your reality through your invocation of self, through the words you are speaking. You're casting this role, you're casting this spell, you're spelling it out through time and space. So be conscious about what you're saying, remember your power, and play differently. As I speak, I create. That is what the word abracadabra means. Abracadabra. I create as I speak. I form it into being as I'm speaking. My speaking, me stating that it is this way. Well, also, what is a state? I state it. I'm in the state of this. So stating meaning like, oh, I'm speaking it. Stating meaning I'm in the state. Statement meaning mental state of mind. What I am stating is my state. That is the state of my mind. What I spell out is what I create throughout each and every time. All the spiraling infinities that I choose to divine, I select and remember. It's always been mine. I love you. Okay. Have an absolutely beautiful day. Come see me for a one-on-one if you want more up-close magic. And check out the courses, guys. I love these courses. They're phenomenal, and they just remind you of who you are. So have an absolutely beautiful day. You're wonderful. You're phenomenal. You're magical as fuck, and you always will be. So I'll see you again sometime soon. Bye now.